Okay, hi, this is Dan Henk. Welcome to the edition of the Skull Sessions. And today I have as a repeat guest, Tommy Clark. What's up, Tommy?
Hey Dan, I'm hanging in there, dealing with a nor'easter here in the Northeast, as you are well aware of.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of wind. It's kind of scaring my dog. I take her out and she's like, I want to go back in.
Yeah, that's how my dogs are too. We got to pee in this? I don't think so.
Yeah, exactly. Like she gets out, she pees, she turns around, she's like, all right, I'm done.
Right. So we got a big event coming up soon.
Yeah, it's the Dead Man's Hand Expo. Yeah. Is your first time going there. It's I know I talked to all you guys to go there, like you're going there, Aaron's going there, Dicey's going there, a bunch of people.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
So what do you have out and what do you have planned for in the future? Let's talk about that.
Well, Deadwood Don't, the story that is in The Joke is on Mankind, I've actually expanded that into a novella.
Okay.
So sometime next year that's going to come out.
Okay.
I got a beautiful cover by Matt Seth Barnes for it.
Okay.
Um, Basically, all I really did in the story was expand more on the Iceland scenes, and I expanded a little bit more on Stu and Jay and how the weird stuff that they encountered, and
Right.
I added a few more dead bodies.
A few
A
that
few
never
more
hurts. A few
bodies.
more dead bodies. Yeah.
Few more bodies. And I've also got The Curse of Kitty Elder, which I sent off to a potential publisher today, as a matter of fact. That's my neo pseudo western.
Okay.
Um, and it's a vampire book too.
Uh, Vampire pseudo western.
Yep. And also in the pipeline is Whirlwind, my it's literally Jurassic Park. Velociraptors eating people at a state park. Because
Well,
nothing's cooler than, dinosaurs eating people at a state park. Come on.
yeah, well, there are a few things cooler than dinosaurs. I mean, come on, let's all be honest.
Well, I've got a video coming out, as we record this tomorrow on the Memento Mori Inc. Blog. I've got a video coming out where I talk about Joe Abercrombie's The Devils and how it's filled with what I call fiction bacon.
Right,
And fiction bacon, bacon makes anything better, right? Okay. So fiction bacon makes anything that you read better or you watch better. Examples of fiction bacon: cowboys and or Indians, dragons, witches, werewolves, Vikings, pirates, those cool things in life.
right.
So yeah, we put some fiction bacon in there.
Well, things that like spark up the tail. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you have out so far? Like, where do you have the Edmund's hand to offer people?
So I've got 9 books out, Dan. So
Wow.
people got a lot of things that they can get from me there.
Do you have
Uh,
copies of all those, or are
yes,
some of
I'll have
those like
copies of all my
okay?
books with me. My first book, Good Boy, which is basically Homeward Bound with zombies, and then the first of the Splatterfolk books, which is Bella's Boys, and then I've got the Death List, which is what if it's basically Spinal Tap meets Home Alone meets Halloween. I guess is
Okay.
the way to put it. And it's my slasher killer book. And then I've got The God Provides, and that's about an Irish family in upstate New York and tells you how they got cursed by a witch. It's my version of
Okay.
the Cycle of the Werewolf. It's a werewolf book. And then there's Summer Home, my haunted assisted living home book. And of course, I've got my short story collections. We Are 13 and Immoral Dilemmas. I've
Okay.
got some books that you can only get from me at events, at appearances. I've got chat books there, little $5, single story books that you can throw in your back pocket and read before you go to bed. And yeah,
Yeah, I noticed that chapbooks are a big thing in Europe. There, a lot of people don't even know what they are here in the U.S.
yeah, and I caught on to those a few years ago. And I learned how to make them through Barnes and Noble Press. And I sell them for $5 a piece. They cost me, about $3 to print. And it's basically the same concept as Drew Steppick does with Godless,
Okay.
where the writer gets most of the profits off of his site. And except here, I take out the middleman, and you just come to me directly, and you get a print
Uh,
copy.
okay. And do you have multiple publishers right now?
Yeah, I've worked through Stitch Smile Publications, which is part of Crystal Lake now, and that has become Memento Mori Inc. That where I'm the senior columnist, and I also manage their blog that you see on social media. And I'm with St. Rooster Books out of Oneida, New York. They've published three of my books for me. A Prayer from the Dead, which is The Crow meets Escape from New York and The Handmaid's Tale. It's a violent cyberpunk book with some dark fantasy elements to it. And he's published Summer Home and The God Provides.
Okay.
Yep. And the publisher that is taking The Curse of Katie Elder, I'm not at liberty to speak about who that is right now.
I
And of
see.
course, I've got a bunch of stories through 13 Days Publishing lately in their Clubhouse volumes. Which those are fun. Those are fun to write. I did one of my very few collaborations that I ever do. I did one with Lucas Milliron in the Clubhouse Volume 4, which is the most vile thing Luke or I have ever written. I'll be truthful. It's vile. It's one of the reviewers of it said that Pinhead would be ashamed of me.
Yeah. Did you see the movie Event Horizon?
Event Horizon? Yeah.
Yeah. Did you
My
kind of
favorite
feel?
version of Event Horizon is called Disney's The Black Hole.
I don't know. I mean, I've seen both, and
But the same story, Dan.
well, I wouldn't say the same
What
story.
one of them's the prequel to Warhammer, though.
um, but where I was going to go with Event Horizon is like one thing that really bothered me about the movie. Like overall, I liked the movie, but one thing that bothered me was like their version of hell was basically Hellraiser. It's
Yeah.
like that's what was done in Hellraiser. You just redid it for Event Horizon.
Well, I think that's part of the aesthetic that they were going for.
Right.
And that kind of look. If you notice, even Guillermo del Toro hells kind of look like Clive Barker hells.
Okay.
I
It
think
might
that's
also the way I thought about it, like trying to intellectualize it was like, well, maybe the reason why they put that up is that's a human version of hell. So if they're humans, and they're like, in another dimension with other dimensional creatures, the way they would envision hell would be the same way Clive Barker did.
true. True. I won't argue that with you. And like I said, with the black hole, there's a version of hell in there as well. I
well,
love the black hole. It's one of my favorite movies. I saw it came out when I was a kid, and it captured my imagination. Almost 50 years ago, and it still does to this day.
no,
I love
I
a lot of
remember
those old
I still
Disney.
like it to this day. And I was like, I remember when I saw it, I was like, it's pretty dark for a Disney movie.
Yeah, there's a lot of dark Disney movies. The Island at the Top of the World,
Right.
The Washer in the Woods, Something Wicked This Way Comes. Those are all Disney movies.
Right. Well, the black hole, I mean, with like the I don't know if they're like the dead crew that now have
Yeah, the
those masks
cruise,
over them. Yeah.
the cruise turned into cyborgs.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Like there was a lot of like really dark stuff there.
Hmm.
But
And then Glenn Larson carried that ball with Battlestar Galactica and doing the same thing with the Cylons. They were reptilian creatures that gave themselves over completely to their cybernetics.
okay. Well, I remember like there were two iterations. There was the first version, then there
And I'm
was
going
the
over for the
Edward
first
James
version.
Olmos, and I actually like both.
So do
Um,
I.
But I remember in the first version, the like the overlords were basically reptiles, and like the Cylons were like their slaves basically.
Correct.
And
The
then
soldiers.
in the new one, the Cylons were like made by humans to help them, like built the civilization. They're basically like robot slaves.
Right, which was
And
a
they
smarter, which was a smart evolution of the story, I
right.
thought. And
But
it also was
they kind of took out the whole like reptilian alien, bit like with the
right.
new itineration. It also got a little bit weird. Like at the end, you were like, are they from Earth? Are they like a lot of it is kind of like it got very like mystical, like vague, like very
And
loosey
so did
goosey.
the original series too. Even though it was only on for a season, near the end when Count Iblis shows up, it gets a little wacky.
Right.
Yeah, and I think that the Ron Moore Battlestar Galactica did a really good job of reimagining a season, literally a season of what Glenn A. Larson put out.
Okay.
And he took what Larson did and he expanded upon it. And if you are as much of a fan of the original Battlestar Galactica as I am, when you watched the reimagined, you saw the parallels. You saw
Okay.
which episodes were which based off of the series, the
I don't
original
know.
series.
I don't know if I like followed it closely enough to know, like, to recognize one episode as kind of being a parallel of another one. But I remember the original Battlestar Galactica was more kind of like almost like Firefly. It was
Right.
like
It was Wagon Train in space.
like more episodic, and them going to like weird kind of like Star Wars style planets with like a bunch of weird stuff going on. And the reimagining was more like on a more like the expanse or something, where it's like
Correct.
every moment you're like on the edge of your seat, like what happens
Well, I
next.
don't think we would have had the Expanse if we hadn't had the Ron Moore Battlestar Galactica. You see, something that's special about that Battlestar Galactica came out in, right after 9/11. And during that time period, we also saw Heroes and Lost on television, and they were
Right.
serialized dramas. All three of them were. And that's what's so special about that Battlestar is that it was a serial. It took the original idea that George Lucas had for Star Wars, with that being, an adaptation of things like Flash Gordon and stuff, the serials that he saw in the movies when he was a young man. And those shows took it to a new level by being, 20 to 40 hours each season of a continuous story.
Right.
And we wouldn't have the really good, what I call now the platinum age of television and storytelling that we have today if it hadn't been for those or even Twin Peaks that predicated it.
Right. Oh, Twin Peaks was groundbreaking. I remember that
Yeah, very
came
much
out.
so. And so
I was
was
like,
X Files.
nothing looks like this.
Mm-hmm. X Files did a good job of balancing
Right.
a serialized show with the episodic,
I did
as you
think
mentioned
Twin Peaks
earlier.
was way better than X Files. So,
And in fact, as we record this, it was the anniversary of the airing of the most disturbing X Files episode, which was inspired by the Brothers Keeper event that happened in upstate New York, where I live,
okay.
with the inbred family.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember when I saw that the first time, Dan. Oh my God! I'm like, this is on TV. Wow! How this could pass the censors?
I remember like pretty much when X Files first came out, was right around when I was homeless, so I didn't really see it when it came out. I saw it later on. And I guess it lost some of its luster because later on it's kind of like watching like one of those early horror movies, and everybody's like, "Oh, this is a classic," But if you see it after you've seen lots of other horror movies, you're like, "Yeah, well, I've seen this and that." And you're like, "Yeah, well, they wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that." But like you're seeing it after the fact.
It's funny that you mentioned that too, because the anniversary of the Blair Witch Project is coming up soon. And part of the problem that people have with Blair Witch Project watching it today, for example, is there's a disconnect between them and the product. And the reason there is because when Blair Witch Project originally came out, it was the first movie to use the internet to advertise it. And it made you think that those people were really lost in those woods. So when you went to a screening of that movie when it first came out, half that audience believed it was real.
Right. Well, I saw it at a local theater called Angelica, and I knew that it wasn't real, but I also knew it was a film school product. So I was like, it's awesome for a film school project.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people are like criticizing it after the fact because it like made on the big screen. And I was like, yeah, but you don't understand the origin of that.
Yeah. I for a year before that, for 2 years actually, before that movie came out, there was sprinklings of it through the internet. You learned about it in chat rooms, and you went to a website, and there was a timeline there for the Blair Witch, and everything that you've discovered on the internet led you to believe that that fucking thing was real.
Well, I thought for what it was a very well done movie. I
Absolutely.
mean, it's kind of like if you watch the first Evil Dead by Sam Raimi, you're like, well, for what Sam Raimi had to do to make that movie, it's very well done. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, if you like, I had a friend who got like the original reels for it, and he was playing it on like a big screen. Like you see on the big screen, you see like there's one scene with like the shack, and you see a moon, and you can see the cutout where they pasted the moon in place, and so it's like, yeah, okay, it kind of like it falls apart on the big screen with the modern critique, but when it first came out, it blew everyone's mind.
It's one of those, again, what that has in common with Blair Witch is that it's so influential on people because of the ways that the filmmakers created the films.
Right.
That rushing camera that Sam
Yeah.
Raimi innovated in Evil Dead has become a trademark for many horror films to this day.
Right.
Just
And
for
now people will
example,
see it after the fact and they'll be like, oh, well, Sam Raimi ripped off this guy. You're like, no, that guy ripped off Sam Raimi.
yeah. And now the shot that replaces that now is the drone shot.
Yeah.
Every movie's got a drone shot in it now. Come on.
Well, also, it didn't help that like a lot of people did much inferior versions of it. Like, I like Blair Witch, but that whole shaky cam thing, like, how many bad shaky cam movies came out after that?
Yep. That's the negative aspect of that
Right.
subgenre.
And I actually, when I
But it also
do
adds to the aesthetic of it, I think.
well, when I do this podcast, I often compare first person to the shaky cam of like novels because it's like if it's done well, then it definitely has an impact. But it's one of those things where if it's done poorly, it really feels like it's done poorly.
Well, you have to remember that if you do something in first person, that what the reader is taught through that voice is restricted by that voice and that voice's perception. So you have to maintain that perception through the entire piece. And if you don't, your readers are going to notice and they're going to balk at it. And the same thing
Right.
can be said with film. If you have a twist in a movie, you do not foreshadow it properly in the beginning, the viewers of that movie are not going to accept that twist.
Right.
And of course, that also works for prose as well. But
Yeah, well, it
movies
kind
is
of
a
comes
better
down to like
example of
good
it.
storytelling. Like when
Right.
you just throw stuff at at the pot of the pan, like you have no like rhyme or reason behind it. You're not going to get a masterpiece.
Yeah. One of the problems that the first person POV movies have right now is pacing. They haven't learned yet how to properly pace them.
Right.
In a Violent Nature, Presence, from what I hear of Good Boy, I haven't seen it yet. They all have pacing issues. So the first director who solves the pacing problem with those films, they're going to have a hit on their hands. Not that these movies haven't been hits already, because the POV subgenre is growing. It has grown over the past couple of years.
Well, one thing I bemoan all the time is like if you look at like classic novels, you look at classic movies, they have a build up. So it's
Yeah.
not like they like immediately jumped out and they're doing the most horrific things ever. It's like they had a slow build up, and then when it got horrible, you're like, holy shit!
Yeah, but
Like
here's the thing too. The reason
Chainsaw
you said
Massacre.
holy shit is
Yeah,
because they had the looming presence of whatever bad thing was going to happen was there during that buildup. You were aware of it and you were anticipating something bad happening to them before it actually does. So when it does hit them, it's like a gush of relief from you almost. And it is expressed through shock and awe.
right. No, but like a lot of the classics, like I said, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's like they're
Yep.
going on a Gallic drive. They're like they're at like some vacation house, and then all of a sudden like 30 minutes in or 45 minutes in or whatever the timeline is, then it starts to go awry. But like it needs that build up.
It does. It does. If you don't, you gotta care for the people. The only way you can care for the people is if you have that buildup. You have to have that development.
Well, and one thing I've noticed is like a lot of people, especially, I mean, I hate to say this generation because it makes me sound old, but it's like you really, a lot of people are so impatient, they don't want that build up. So, like, I'll be like, dude, have you watched Game of Thrones? No, I watched one episode and I gave up. It was slow. It's like, dude, it gets really horrific, but you have, like, you don't spoiler alert, um, the head of the Star Clan gets beheaded, but it's only at the end of the first episode. It's only because they built him up as such a great guy that you're just like, holy shit, what happened?
Yeah.
But if they
Well, that was the
didn't
thing
do
about Game
that,
of Thrones. Anybody could die, and you're like,
yeah.
what?
But the thing is, like, they start out with him getting beheaded. It's not the same thing. You don't feel as like tied into the character.
Right? Because if they just went to the through the motions of him just being, the hand, not going through, his caring for his family and whatnot. They ignored all of that and then just lopped his head off. You wouldn't have given a shit.
Right. All right, so let's get back to you for a minute. So I know that like you have a lot of knowledge of like doing kind of like the folk horror bit. The like I remember I did the Western story for Meryl David's Western anthology, and I was asking you for advice on a lot of
Mm-hmm.
stuff,
And I
and you
gave you
gave
some
me
good advice for it.
what
And I did give you some good advice for it.
you did. And definitely because the main character is a former Confederate soldier, and you're like, oh well, it's called this, and I was like, oh, so no, it helped me, but I'm wondering what kind of got you into that genre.
When I was trying to find my niche, one day Garrett Cook told me, your horror comes from fantasy. And I said, okay, that makes me an urban fantasy writer. And I come from writing fantasy to begin with. Because that's my first favorite genre. Robert E. Howard and Conan.
Okay.
So
He was a big pen pal with H.P. Lovecraft.
yes, he was. And because of that, Howard also, delved into the Lovecraftian mythos.
Right.
And there's a couple Conan stories that are clearly Lovecraftian.
Oh
They're
yeah.
clearly the Tower of the Elephant, just for example,
Okay.
and the Black Pool. Those two stories right there. Um, so I when I wrote Bella's Boys, I saw it as a cosmic horror story, and then I was corrected by friends of mine. They're like, dude, you put a lot of mythology in here. This is folk horror. And then I realized, folk horror and cosmic horror, they kind of blend together anyway. Because quite often you have this cult that lives in the woods and is worshiping something with tentacles or freaking chitinous skin. Okay. And isn't that Lovecraftian monsters? Hell yeah, it is.
Well, I kind of had that in mind when he illustrated your character because, like,
Right,
we should
Bella.
have some tentacles. I love that
Mhm.
shit.
She is basically Angrota, Loki's wife. And
Okay.
I've amalgamated her with Yanhari, the Genesee River serpent that eats unfaithful spouses. So I put them together as one. She's the mother of monsters. And she feeds off of humans. She hunts in snow. But they're her herd. So she also cares for her herd. She just culls the weak, culls what she or she falls in love with somebody, she wants them, she's gonna eat them because when she consumes somebody, they become part of her forever.
I kind of
So
like that the whole like Loki mythology because it's like he's not straight up evil.
right.
He's mischievous, but mischief on a god level might kill a few people along the way. It might be
Oh,
brutal, but
absolutely,
it's
absolutely.
not like they're like Art the Clown and they're like just they're loving the destruction and the gore. They're more like, yeah, I'm just doing what I do, and hey, there might be some people in the way.
In the rewrite of the piece, what I have added to it is more of uh Norse mythology elements. The cave where the girl is trying to save her husband from, um, in the story that has been published already. I expand upon that, and it turns out that the guardian of the cave is Fenry.
Okay, the
Okay,
wolf,
and
yeah.
but I make him the way I do Fenris or Fenry, however you want to pronounce it, is I do it the same way that I do the Wendigo creature in the story, where it's a dead body possessed by the essences of those who Bella has consumed. So it's a giant dire wolf that was probably found in permafrost
Okay.
that the others have animated, and that's what Fenris is, and it's huge, and there's a big fight with it and a werewolf berserker.
Oh, you heard that
I've added that to
they're trying to
it.
bring back the dire wolf. You
Yes,
hear
yeah.
that?
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a zombie dire wolf. That's what Fenris is.
Mm.
It's basically what I interpret it as. Um, because in the original Bella's Boys, what I do is I give you Bella's point of view from when she was captured by the Vikings and brought over to North America. So in Deadwood in the expansion, what I have done because of what that one portion that I wrote to explain how she was impacted by the charms and the runes of the Vikings, was to tell that story from the people's point of view now. So now there's instead of having just two parallel storylines going in that, there's three. So
Okay.
and I doubled the size of the story, Dan. It's 20,000 words now.
So
And
did
I'm gonna
you
get
take the story in my anthology and you
I made it
extended
into a
that, or you
novella.
just took the same
Yep.
story and you added more to it?
It's the same story and I added more to it.
Okay.
You know,
All right.
because
So
it's gotten really good response.
okay, awesome.
Yeah.
All
Hey,
right.
look what you
So
encouraged me to do. This is all because of you, Dan. Well, after you and I discussed the story and I had to explain some things to you, I said, you know what? I've always wanted to do a Philip Nutman where he took this story Wet Work and expanded it into a novel.
okay.
So that's what I did with this. I took the Philip Nutman approach and I said, okay, these are things that Dan and I talked about, things that he might have wanted to learn more about in the story. So I'm going to put them in,
Okay.
plus a few extra warm bodies to kill.
So you basically like what's in my anthology is like a preview to like a much more expansive work.
Yes,
Okay.
that's what it's become. That's what it's evolved into.
So is the expensive work out now?
No, it won't be. Not. I'm giving it until your book's been out for at least a year.
Okay. So what are you bringing to Database Hand?
Again, I'm gonna have all my books. I don't bring anthologies that I'm in to them because most of the events that I go to have publishers that sell the anthologies that I'm in. So I don't want
Yeah,
to
I've
take
noticed
money from
that.
them.
Yeah.
So I don't want to take money from them. So all my standalone books in my short story collections will be there with me.
Okay.
Um, I have one of my LGBTQ ally kits left, and that includes a specially painted edition of Summer Home, an LGBTQ ally coffee mug, and a bunch of swag and a chapbook of the first girl
Okay.
that goes along with Summer Home. So I'll have that, just one of those. And okay, so all my swag and stuff that I usually have with me at my events. You know, it's
Okay.
gonna be
Well,
fun.
definitely everybody should come. But if they come, I'm sure they can get signed copies from you, and they can they can buy what you have. You can have chapbooks there as well.
Yep, yep. Yeah, I have three price points. My chapbooks are $5. My mass market paperbacks are $10, and my trade paperbacks, the 5x8s, they're $15. Pretty simple.
Okay.
Keep it
Do you
simple,
have
stupid.
one source where you can go to for yourself? Like, do you have a website with links
I
or something
sure
like
do,
that?
Dan. You know how you
Okay.
got
Well, throw
danhink.com?
that
Well, I
out.
got thomasrclark.com.
Okay.
You can
So
go there.
if you go to thomasrclark.com, then
Go
you can like order your books.
Yep, go to my bookstore and you can order my books there. Yep.
Would they be ordering it direct from the publisher, or would they order it from you and you can sign
From
it?
me. Yep. And I'll sign them for them and send you some free swag and stuff like that. I'm always nice
Okay, awesome.
to people that buy stuff from me.
All right, so they could go buy it off your website, but you'll have it in person so you can sign it and then send it to them.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. And let me just ask you a couple more questions. I'll let you go. I know it's probably getting a little bit late for you. You go to sleep a lot earlier than I do.
Well, I drive Uber in during the morning, so I got to get
Right.
up at the ass crack of dawn. You know how it is.
Yeah, I'm not even up at the ass crack of dawn. But then again, I'll be tattooing until like 1 in the morning
Yes,
sometimes.
you will
So
be.
yeah. Uh, so all right. So the best way to see you is to go on your website. Do you have any recommendations you want to throw out there? Hey, check this out. And then also, do you have anything that like you're like, hey, if you like this, this is kind of the sell of my stuff.
Well, I do, like I said, I am the blog manager for Memento Mori Inc. magazine. So you might want to check that out. They're through Crystal Lake. Lisa Vasquez, it's her magazine, and I'm her senior columnist at it. It's pretty fun. I enjoy it. I have a team of interns that work for me under at the blog, and they're great. So I'll give a shout out to Jill Glenn. I'll give a shout out to Julia uh, Terry. I'll give a shout out to Savannah Fisher. I'll give a shout out to Jason Kuykendall, Nine Toes, our movie and book reviewer, to Chrissy, our Canadian correspondent. Chrissy, give a shout out to her. Yeah, Chrissy Winters up in Canada. She's our Canadian correspondent, like I said. Hey, she tells us what it's all
Hey,
about.
is it a head flip?
But then there's Liz Ramos. She writes a weekly witchcraft column for us. Yeah, have fun, and they learn a lot, and they want to learn. I give people a 6 month internship, and they stay with me for over a year.
Okay, cool.
I give them the option to leave, and they don't. So I guess I'm doing something right.
Have you met the crew from Rue Morgue?
I used to write for Room Work.
Oh yeah.
Monica Kubler was my mentor, one of my early mentors. And I wrote articles for the Roomwork blog. and did a few things for the magazine itself. I'm not going to say what I did because I did reviews and I wasn't kind.
Yeah. Well,
I've got a high
fortunately,
bar.
I was in there, so fortunately, you didn't tear apart my work. But I met all the staff. Like I've done the Knicks convention up in Toronto a number of times, and one time we stopped by there, like we met the whole staff. Like it's a I guess a publishing house or whatever.
Yeah,
But they're all cool.
they are very cool. I the only person I really had any interactions with was Monica, and she's fabulous. Wonderful writer. She's very wise. She knows her journalism. And I'm taking what I've learned from her and I'm passing it on to people now. So if that says anything. It's a testimony to her.
Okay, well, awesome. Everybody should definitely come see us at Dipman's Hand. Come get some stuff signed by Tommy. Do you
Yep.
have anything else you want to throw out there to the social sphere?
Oh well, the 18th of October. This is probably airing after that, but 18th of October, I'm going to be moderating a Q&A panel at the Syracuse International Film Festival with Genevieve Turner. She is the screenwriter for American Psycho, and we are going to do a 25th anniversary screening of said movie, and I get to talk to her about it and how awesome her screenplay was. And I'll
Okay.
ask her questions about, was it a challenge to adapt a Bret Easton Ellis novel? How about the accusations of misogyny when this movie was created by females? Yeah, we're gonna go over all of that, so
Well,
that's
there are a
gonna be
lot of
fun.
people that like to be Karens. Like, remember when somebody they bagged on me about a painting I did back in art
Yep,
school?
yep, and they're
Yeah,
still doing it.
yeah. People just love to be Karens sometimes.
Dan, you're living rent free in their head.
It's true. Yeah, yeah, it's true. They should actually pay me, I think.
They're getting royal. Be like Gene Simmons. Give me a nickel every time you bring my name up.
Yeah, exactly. Or like Metallica, you illegally downloaded it, so now I'm gonna sue you.
I'm I've got a few concerts coming up. I'm going to see Zach Sabbath. That's gonna be bittersweet because with Ozzy passing this year, I'm sure it's gonna be a special show. I'm gonna see, and
What
I got
is
front row
Zach
tickets for
Wild is in
that.
it? That's why it's
Huh?
called Zach Wild is in it.
Zach Wild's Black Sabbath tribute band. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
it's him, drummer and a bass player.
I saw him by himself with his Black Label Society.
Hmm.
And they played with I think Corrosion Conformity and I Hate God, which is
I
kind of
saw that
weird.
tour as well.
Oh, okay.
I actually interviewed I Hate God on that tour, and I got drunk with Pepper.
Pepper Keenan.
That's not hard to do. All you got to do is walk by Pepper. He'll breathe on you, and you are instantly inebriated.
Right. Well, you could have brought him meth. I heard like for a while he was doing a lot of math, but
Not anymore.
all right, man. So, is there anything else you want to say? Otherwise, I'll see you in 2 weeks.
I'll see you in 2 weeks, Dan.
All right. Thanks,
Peace.
dude. Thanks for doing this.